n different things, all n at a time is going to be n factorial, number of arrangements of n different things taking r at a time is npr, that is nothing but n factorial by n minus r factorial, and then number of arrangements of n different things taken r at a time with repetitions is n power r, and number of arrangements of n things out of which p are alike, q are alike. You can extend this, and it is given by n factorial by p factorial q factorial. Now, let me take you to the next technique of counting, which is nothing but combinations. So, what do you mean by a combination? Combination is nothing but different groups or selections that can be formed by taking some or all of a number of objects at a time. So, here the key word or the underlining word is the selections. When we were speaking about permutations, what was the underlining word? It was the arrangements. And now, when we are talking about combinations, the underlining word is the selection. So, combination is defined as different groups or selections that can be formed by taking some or all of a number of objects at a time. Say for example, we want to select 2 out of 3 boys A, B, C. So, when I mean selection, whether I select A first, B second or B first, A second, that is the 2 possible selection is going to be A, B, it is same. Okay, that is the only difference you will have to underline or note or remember when you are comparing with permutation. So, if you have 3 boys A, B, C and you want to select 2 boys at a time, what are the different selections you can make? You can select A B, you can select A C or you can select B C. So, how many ways you are able to do this? In how many possibilities? 3 different ways. So, the possible selections are A B, B C, C A. This is what we mean by combinations. So, if it is as simple as from 3 selecting 2, you are able to write all the possible exhaustive combinations and you can count, but it is not always that simple. So, we need to use a formula for writing these selections. So, number of combinations of n things taken r at a time is given by n c r, and it is written as n factorial by r factorial into n minus r factorial. So, what is a combination? How do you write a combination? A combination is written as n c r, and it is equal to, its value is equal to n factorial by r factorial into n minus r factorial. Quickly, if you try to compare this with NPR, what is the difference between the two formulae? If it is NPR, it is simply n factorial by n minus r factorial, whereas when it is NCR, it is, you have in a denominator you have one more thing, it is n factorial by n minus r factorial multiplied by r factorial. So, which one is going to be smaller? Number of ways when you are arranging things or number of possible ways when you are selecting. Which one is going to be smaller? Because the denominator you have one more additional thing, you are dividing by another value, positive value. So, definitely permutation is going to be give us a larger number than compared to a combination. Now, let me just take you with few examples, so that the understanding of the formula would be more clear. In how many ways can a cricket team of 11 members be chosen from a group of 15 players? So, how many ways can a cricket team of 11 members be chosen? Chosen is the word. Chosen means selected, selection from a group of 15 players. So, how should you go about with this? It is nothing but a problem on combinations. What is your n here? N is 15 and R is 11. So, in how many ways can you write this? 15 C R. So, 15 C R, by definition it has to be 15 factorial divided by 11 factorial multiplied by 15 minus 11 factorial. So, in the denominator you have two terms 11 factorial and 15 minus 11 factorial, and in the numerator it is 15 factorial. If you try to simplify this, how do you go about in simplifying this? 15 factorial, you can write it as 15 into 14 into 13 into 12, and then the 11 factorial, and then 11 gets cancelled. This is how, these are the techniques you should remember of simplification and all that, so that you will be able to do the problems, particularly the competitive examinations, you will be able to do them quickly. So, if you use those techniques and try to simplify, this is what you are going to get 1365. So, in number of ways a cricket team of 11 members can be chosen from a group of 15 is 1365. How many quadrilaterals can be formed by joining the vertices of an octagon? Quadrilateral is a four-sided figure. It has 4 vertices and 4 sides. When you are looking at an octagon, it is an 8-sided figure. It has 8 sides and 8 vertices. So, how do you go about now? We are interested in finding out number of quadrilaterals that can be formed by joining the vertices of an octagon. So, if you closely observe this, we are looking at the number of possible selections that we can make or groups that we can make by choosing 4 sides or 4 vertices at a time out of the 8 available. So, here n is 8 and r is 4. Is it a permutation or a combination? It has to be a combination. So, what is going to be the value? It is going to be 8 C 4. That means 8 factorial by 4 factorial into 8 minus 4 factorial. If you try to simplify it, it is going to look like 8 into 7 into 6 into 5 by 24, that is going to be 70. Let me just give you some of the useful tips. 0 factorial has a value 1. N P n is going to be equal to n factorial. N C n is going to be 1. If n C n is equal to n C y, then either x is equal to y or x plus y equal to n. So, total number of selections of 0 or more things from identical things is always going to be equal to n plus 1. Total number of selections of 0 or more things from n different things is going to be 2 n. And there is one simple little addition rule in combinations which goes about like this. Let me quickly go through this example. Suppose there are 42 men and 16 women in a party. Each man shakes his hands only with all men and each woman with all women. The maximum number of handshakes that can take place in the party. So, you have 42 men, 16 women in the party. Each man wants to shake hands with only men, other men, and each woman wants to shake hands with only with other women. So, number of handshakes. Let us consider the first part, number of handshakes among 42 men would be 42 C 2. that is going to be 861 if you simplify it, and number of handshakes among women is going to be 16 C2. So, that is going to be, if you simplify, 120. So, we want the total number of handshakes that are possible. So, if you are applying your addition rule, it is going to be 860 plus 120, 981. So, that is another useful and simple rule that you have in this combination, which we call it as addition rule. So, probability, if you are looking at, probability is nothing but a measure of uncertainty. You are going to straight away see how you are going to apply these permutations and combinations, that is the counting techniques in solving these problems on probability. By uncertainty means, if something is not clear, if the outcome is not unique, then you are interested in guessing what are the chances that it would happen, isn't it? You all are now competing for some banking services or railway recruitment board. Since you are not sure whether you will get selected or not, you start measuring your chances of selection. So, this whenever this uncertainty is there, we are interested in measuring this, and then a mathematical measure of uncertainty is nothing but your probability. So, probability theory, if you want to understand, you will have to quickly understand the terms like random experiment, event, exhaustive cases, favorable cases, mutually exclusive cases, equally likely cases, independent and dependent cases. So, we will take up one by one, and then we would like to use all these permutations, combinations, and then the techniques in solving your probability theory problems. Maybe we will go into the next session, and then we will be able to do those things. But let me just brief you about random experiment. An experiment is said to be a random experiment if its outcome is not unique. That means, it is not a single value. If you are tossing a coin, for example, tossing a coin is an experiment. What are the outcomes of this tossing of a coin? You can get heads or you can get tails. That means, the outcome is not a single value. You call that experiment as a random experiment. What do you mean by an event? Event is the possible combination you are interested in. Supposing you are tossing a coin 3 times, you are interested in finding out possibility of getting 2 heads. That means, that is the combination you are interested in, you call it as an event. Exhaustive cases means, since the random experiment, the outcome is not single value, it is not unique, all possible outcomes of a random experiment, you call them as exhaustive cases. All possible outcomes, head, tail, say if you are tossing 2 times, head on the first toss, head on the second toss, head on the first toss, tail on the second toss, like that you are going to get all possible outcomes, you call it as exhaustive cases. Favorable cases would be, having defined the event above, how many out among these all possible outcomes, how many are going to be in favor of your event, that is what you mean by favorable cases. Mutually exclusive, that is outcome of one event does not stop the outcome of other, you call them as mutually exclusive. Equally likely, if they all have same ways of selection, you call them as equally likely, and independent, if one does not stop the other, you call it as independent. So, with this description of events on the probability, we conclude here, and then in the next session, I would like to take up with the applications of probability, and then few more definitions into probability and problems on permutations and combinations.